point's clear. I can smell it. I can feel it. It's coming home.
Piers, before you get carried away, we played a little excerpt from your interview maybe about 6 months ago, where I have to say, Piers, you were maybe questioning Mikel Arteta. Would that be fair?
I didn't just question him. I said we should never have given him a new contract.
Correct.
Yeah, if you remember. I mean, I did write a mea culpa for the Sun last week about this, because there's no doubt Arteta's proved me completely wrong. I would argue in my defence that at the time I said that, we'd just been hammered 3-0 by Tottenham. We went on to lose another 3 games. We were not in any European competition at the time. Dumped out of both domestic cups in January. And it just felt like we were going nowhere. You know, Arteta had been in charge for 2 full seasons and a bit. We'd lost 13 league games in both of those seasons. And I honestly felt this was a rookie manager out of his depth and that we should be looking elsewhere. And boy, has he proved me wrong, because in the next few months, he went and got Jesus and Zinchenko from Man City, who turned out to be unbelievably good signings. He brought back Saliba at the perfect time. He's a world-class centre-back, and everything seems to have clicked. So I can only, once again, lie on the floor and beg forgiveness of the great Mikel Arteta for so badly misreading his long-term plan. And actually, I'll tell you the moment for me. I wrote this in the column, but the moment for me of real life, I think, awareness of what was going on with Arteta was in the Amazon doc, which I thought was going to be a total train wreck. And it certainly began that way, if you watched it. But you see at the start him doing ridiculous things, Arteta, like playing a little stereo radio, "You'll never walk alone," before we play Liverpool and we get hammered 4-0. You see him making the players shut their eyes and hold their hands. Like, what is going on here? And I could see why players like Aubameyang just had no confidence in him. But then as it went on the series, there was a moment when he brings in the club photographer, Stuart MacFarlane, before the North London derby that we ended up winning last season. And he just gives the players full throttle of what it means to play for Arsenal. And it's an amazing moment. And I remember thinking then, I looked at the players, I looked at the photographer who was doing it, I looked at Arteta, and I felt there was a spirit building which I had slightly missed. And that actually a bit of patience and the longer game, which football fans don't want to be patient. And I'm one of the least patient human beings in the world anyway. And I think you put it all together, that was the moment to me when I thought, okay, I think I missed that, and I can see he's building an incredible spirit, not just with the team, but also with the fans. And look, fair play to Arteta. He's been an absolute revelation.
Yeah, I can't disagree with anything that you said there, which hurts me a little bit. Because, I do want to ask your thoughts about Richarlison. So we've been talking about this story all morning. I don't know if you heard a second ago, it had callers on about it as well. Richarlison's come out and said that Aaron Ramsdale was disrespectful. What did you think about that?
Oh, please do me a favour. Ramsdale was man of the match, in my opinion. Had a fantastic game. And it's turned out, again, I mean, a lot of knockers when he joined us, but what a goalkeeper he's turned out to be. Now, look, the Tottenham fans were clearly giving him absolute hell the entire game, as you would expect in a North London derby. And at the end, rather than hurl back all the foul-mouthed abuse he'd had to sustain for 90 minutes, he turns around and kisses the badge and smiles at them, right? On the general scale of declarations of war, an Arsenal player kissing the badge when we just hammered Tottenham in their own backyard is probably not in the top 1,000 things he could have done wrong. I remember Sheringham and what he used to do to Arsenal fans. I remember Adebayor sprinting the entire length of the field to celebrate in front of us. So let's get real about how offensive it was by Ramsdale. It was a bit of fun with a bunch of fans who've been giving him hell. Richarlison, however, his behaviour, in my opinion, absolutely crossed the line. I think he basically assaulted Ramsdale and should be banned for at least 3 games. And I think the fan who then did what he did was probably encouraged by what he saw with Richarlison. And I think players have responsibility. If they're going to start getting violent, then it's not entirely surprising if some hooligan idiots in the crowd think it's time to get involved too. So I think Richarlison was completely out of order.
Piers, I'll tell you where I want to go next with you. I mean, I was at, what game was it? West Ham game, I think, at Emirates. West Ham go a goal up, and I sensed something, actually, that I hadn't seen or heard at Emirates for a long, long time. And it was a complete opposite of mumping and moaning. You could feel a renewed energy from the stadium and the fans itself getting behind the team, which I've got to say was a breath of fresh air.
Look, I've not heard the Emirates ever actually rock like it is at the moment, and it's been going on now for quite a few months. I think that Arteta he's very brilliantly created a spirit, like I said, with the team and with the fans, almost like we've come together now and everyone's on the same purpose. And I think there's an acknowledgement by the fans. Look, we may not end up winning the league. Obviously, City have two world-class players in every position, but I certainly think what Arteta's done, he's given us a belief that we can, and those players believe they can. And I just thought that performance on Sunday was a real game-changing performance, because I looked at our team and I thought, well, how many of that Spurs team would you put in that Arsenal team? You might put Harry Kane only because Jesus is out, but I thought Nketiah had a terrific game. So how many actually, in a North London derby, how many times have we got to a place where basically you would pick probably 10 Arsenal players? And on every position on that pitch on Sunday, I felt we were fantastic. From the goalkeeper to the rock-solid defence to Xhaka and Partey in the middle, Odegaard, what a fantastic player he's turned out to be. And what a brilliant captain and leader of the team. Again, I wasn't convinced. When he was made captain, I was like, really? Is he the kind of guy that's going to drive us forward? Is he the new Vieira? Actually, that's exactly what he's turning out to be. He's leading by example. I think he's got stronger, more dynamic. He's leading games now. Brilliant player. And you look at someone like Nketiah, the pressure on that kid, right? He's only in his early 20s, coming in to replace a World Cup player like Gabriel Jesus, and actually holding his own in games like a North London derby. Great credit to Eddie Nketiah. I still think we need to go in the market and buy another forward, but that's really to support Nketiah until Jesus is ready. Because if we want to win the league, we've got to get serious in this market now and bolster reserves, both in midfield and I think up front.
Piers, will you stay with us? Because I want to ask you about the market, actually. And one of the stories on the back pages today, linking Declan Rice with Arsenal. That would be the summer window.
I would love that. Declan, come on. I know you're listening, Declan. Come to the Emirates. Come and be loved.
talkSPORT Breakfast with Laura Woods. Monday to Wednesday morning, 6 till 10. On AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.